guy by the name of Joseph Stack is a software engineer. He was living in Austin, Texas, and apparently he hates the IRS, the government, and many other things. And he decided that he'd had enough, and he got in a small single-engine Piper Cherokee plane and just took the plane right into the IRS building in Austin, Texas. And you'll see video here of the building on fire, obviously reminiscent of 9/11 as the plane, went into the building. There's no video of the plane actually going into the building, but video of the immediate aftermath. As you can see, the building is smoking and on fire. And the first word out about Joe Stack was that he is a Tea Party guy who is anti-government. That is not true, okay? He is definitely anti-government, but he defies easy characterization. There is no evidence that he's with any Tea Party or anything like that. He's got views that appear to be very much against the Democratic Party, but also views that are very much against the Republican Party. This guy didn't like any of them, okay? Let me just list off a couple of things that he hated here. He was against the government, but he was also against big corporations. He hated the powerful, and he thought they were robbing the poor, including himself. Hated the IRS. I read a long explanation that he put up. It's basically a suicide note. Hated Democrats like former Senator Patrick Moynihan from New York. He hated Republicans like George W. Bush. He hated the tax loopholes for the rich, and he hated the GM bailout. So, I mean, there were not a lot of things that the government did that he liked, okay? But he gave it to the Republicans, he gave it to the Democrats, he gave it to the conservatives, he gave it to the liberals, okay? And he does not have an immediate characterization or, okay, he's on the right or he's on the left. Now, having said that about all the people that he hated, and obviously what he did was despicable and couldn't be more wrong-headed, when you read his suicide note, it took me a little bit by surprise because it is more thoughtful and intelligent than I expected. Usually they're rambling, terrible grammar sometimes, conspiracies all around them, that type of thing usually, right? In this one, no, it's a story of a guy who got ground up by the system, okay? And he goes, time period by time period in his life and how he got in trouble with the IRS this time because of something and another time because of another thing. And now, of course, he makes his own case there, and you don't know what the exact reality of it is. And believe me, I don't have any sympathy for him. You don't get mad at the IRS and then drive a plane into a building. First of all, you have no idea who's inside that building. And you're going to kill people? You think that's the right answer? That couldn't be more the wrong answer. And even if you wanted to target the IRS, this is what is so stupid about acts of terrorism, which is you don't know who's in that building. Maybe somebody innocent who also got audited. Innocent. They're all innocent, right? But someone who got audited, who sympathizes with you greatly, and you run into the wrong floor at the wrong time and you kill her and her kids. Could that be possible? Of course it could. That's why random acts of violence are so damn stupid. And at this point, it looks like there's one IRS agent missing that has not been accounted for. A couple of people have been taken to the hospital. I'm surprised that the damage is that limited. I would have thought that a lot more people would have been injured or hurt by this crash. And so in some ways, we're lucky it wasn't much, much worse. I feel terrible for the people who've been injured and especially the guy who's missing, obviously, right? So now, look, there's a lot to learn from this story. But the one thing I want to say before we do anything else is the White House came out and said this is not an act of terrorism, that this was just a criminal act. That is absolutely false. That is not true at all. There's no question this is an act of terrorism. Here, I'll make it perfectly clear to you all, and you'll all understand exactly what I'm talking about as soon as I say it. If this guy's name was not Joe Stack, and it was Mohammed Abdullah Hamid, and he ran a plane into a federal building, how many people in the country would say it was not a terrorist act? How many? None, right? None. His name is Joe Stack. All of a sudden, it's a simple criminal act. I mean, it's not really terrorism if it's a white guy, right? I don't even know if he's white or black or whatever he is, right? But it's not a Muslim name, so no. All right, look, maybe the White House is trying to say it's not an act of terrorism to deflect, like, oh, you know what, there was no acts of terrorism. There was no acts of terrorism, okay? And that might be the reason why they're doing it, but I don't care. It's not right. It's not true. A guy kills people indiscriminately, goes into a building like that. Look, the other thing is you can make an argument that that's not terrorism and nothing is terrorism, and that terrorism is an overused word that's nonsensical, right? Because is it terrorism when the guy walked into the Holocaust Museum, remember the right-winger who did that, and tried to kill Jews and, of course, wound up killing a black guy, but he didn't mind because he hated all of them, right? Is that an act of terrorism? Well, is it an act of terrorism if you use a rifle, or is it an act of terrorism only if you use a plane or a bomb? You see, so if you dispute the definition overall, I hear you. But you can't call everything else terrorism and this not terrorism, just a criminal act. So I don't know if the right-wingers will agree with me or the left-wingers will agree with me, but I don't care. This is exactly in the same category as the others.